Hey, Tyler here. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know that things get a little heated between Shibuya and Shawn. So, if that ever kind of makes you uncomfortable, or you feel you're like, yeesh, they're getting kind of heated. Just remember that while they argue and I don't speak, I am silently dancing to myself as it happens because I don't have to say a word. So yeah, please enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to MC Unhinged, the podcast where we talk about and recap Marvel content that we choose to. I change it up how I say it every time. But with me today is Shawn and Shibuya.
What's up?
Hi.
And who am I? Tyler Rims. I forget I said over myself. It's been a minute since we've done a proper review of a movie.
Oh God.
How are you guys doing today?
I don't know if what you just said is gonna be in the beginning of the podcast or what, but just so the listeners know, I'm gonna need a second to compose myself again as we get started. But Tyler just said some crazy shit.
Yeah, man just dropped a story that I don't know if people are familiar in our audience with Tumblr fake stories like Opa Homeless style, but it had the energy of an Opa Homeless style.
I've never heard of that.
I fully believe that this is a real thing that happened.
I believe it's real. What's even more is just immediately after we're losing our shit over it, Tyler goes, "All right, you guys ready to start?" All right. Hi, welcome to Mac and Hinge. Like,
Yeah.
fucking, Tyler somehow just turns off sometimes, and I don't know how he does it.
It's a skill, you know?
It is. It means you can deliver deadpan shit so well, and I'm so jealous because I always crack up.
So about the movie, though, like, how are you feeling about the movie that we've seen?
Jeez. This is how we're doing this?
Give me some top level thoughts.
Okay, you don't want to like say what the movie is.
They read the title.
They can read.
I hope they read the title.
Well, you know what? If they can't read, then it's a good thing it's an audio medium.
Hey, if you've accidentally clicked on this, keep listening. Maybe you'll like it.
Maybe.
Shawn, what do you think about Captain America: Civil War? The third the third Captain America movie.
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts about this movie that will unfold as we watch it. I want to like throw out at the right at the top. I think it's a great movie. I really like this movie. Like, before I critique parts of it, I want to make it very clear. I really like this movie. I think that it is a great it's a great Captain America movie that takes aspects of the Civil War storyline to tell a really good story about Cap, Bucky, and Tony. As an adaptation of Civil War, it's not great in a way that I'll talk about later on, but I think it's a great movie, like, for what it sets out to do. I don't think it really sets out to try and adapt Civil War.
Yeah, otherwise we'd have like a fake Thor running around and
yeah.
And
like the Sokovia Accords just aren't. It's not a 1-to-1. Like, it's a very different issue that it's tackling than in the Civil War comic, which is
Speedball's not even here.
Yeah, dude, where's Speedball? Phase 5, baby. Yeah, no, I really like this movie. Yeah.
Shibuya?
as somebody who hadn't seen this movie in, it would be 7 years now, like fully, I was surprised going back to it how good some of the writing in it is. Like just as far as a screenplay and, you know, having things that you bring up and call back to by the end. I think that aspect is very good. I enjoyed it. Oh boy, some of these characters. We're gonna get into why I think they butchered a couple of characters here. Not completely butchered, because butchered is a strong word.
Yeah.
I think they've gone against pre-established character, like, motivations here. Or just dialed it up to an extreme that feels almost fanfic-esque. And, not a perfect movie by any means, but a really good fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah. With what you're talking about, how characters feel kind of fanficky, there's a whole sequence in this movie that we'll talk about that I think I really enjoyed a long time ago. And watching it today, I was like, oh God, I hate this sequence.
I think I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. So
and I can understand.
We'll see. But yeah. Tyler, what'd you think?
I really like this movie. I actually never saw it in theaters. I think I purchased it like a while after it hit, the physical media. But I do remember watching the trailers and being excited. And we can get to that once the time comes. But yeah, I mean, I've watched it recently as well. Especially during that stint where I didn't have internet, just plop in the Blu-ray, play a video game or two. Watch Civil War. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I get you.
There are definitely some issues with some of the logic of the movie, but overall it's pretty fun. Pretty fun thing. And yeah, there's definitely some talking points in here. So let's go over the information here. This is Captain America Civil War, which came out in 2016 at a runtime of 2 hours and 27 minutes. Directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. With a budget of $250 million. A box office of $1,153,296,293 worldwide. With a 35.4% domestic and a 64.6% international split. This movie has a 90% with critics on Rotten Tomatoes and 89% with audiences.
Yeah. One more take, Tyler. One more take.
Audiences? No, that's too many.
No, okay.
That's too many.
No, I think we got it. We can move on. I think we got it.
It has a 7.8 on IMDb and an 84% on Google. IMDb kind of low compared to the others.
Kind of shocking how low the IMDb is in comparison.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how high the critic score is.
Yeah,
but it makes sense. I think this was the height of the MCU, right?
If not the height, it's like one of the higher points,
or maybe the beginning of the height that goes up through like Infinity War.
Yeah, this is definitely like
I could
the
see that.
start of like crazy marketing pushes and stuff.
This is when I remember hearing like random people in like school talking about, oh, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking?
That was like the only thing people talked about with this movie.
Well, yeah, but it was also just like, you guys fucking watch. You guys know about the Marvel characters,
the modern day Team Edward, Team Jacob,
Yeah. Except makes even less sense after the fact. Like the movie fucking tells you. The movie answers the question. We'll get to it, but it answers the question.
We're gonna fucking get to this. I can feel it in my bones.
Let me tell you, Shawn. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So, we start in 1991 Siberia. A Hydra agent grabs a red book and they activate the Winter Soldier, who was last seen in Ant-Man. They have a mission for him. Sanction and extract. No witnesses. He rolls up to a car of somebody. Who fucking knows? And he wrecks it.
Oh, who knows? Who could tell?
He opens a suitcase in the trunk and finds a bunch of blue packets. You know what that blue stuff is. The super soldier serum. In Lagos, present day, Shout out to my favorite paper towel brand. We see Wanda, Steve, Falcon, Nat.
What?
My favorite paper towel brand, bro. What do you mean?
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Shawn, are you all right?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Of course. Why wouldn't it? Why not?
Shawn, you okay?
Why not, man? Why not? Why not?
You don't like those commercials?
You know, I don't know when the last time I saw a Lagos commercial was.
Maybe when WandaVision was out?
Oh, they did?
They did, yeah.
Oh. I forgot it's not a real brand of paper towel. I was like, what the fuck are you talking
To
about?
clean
To be
up?
fair, it took me a minute to register that also.
I was like,
I just wasn't saying anything because I'm trying to be like, am I insane? Am I
was like-
crazy? Did I forget some
Shawn,
shit?
come on.
but the problem is I looked it up and I was like, what the fuck is Lagos? And then I saw this image that I just sent. And I was like, that looks like a paper towel commercial that I've seen before. I must I must know what Lagos is. And then you said WandaVision, and I looked again at the image. Do you guys want to know where that image is from?
Sure.
It's from the MCU wiki.
Lagos. To clean up the mess you didn't mean to make.
Yeah.
Lagos to clean up the international incident.
Back to Civil War and away from my stupidity. It's cool to see the Avengers being the Avengers.
Yeah, they're all staking out. They're on the tail of Brock Rumlow, last seen in Winter Soldier. They're taking note of everything in their surroundings, and Wanda, a little bit cocky, you know?
You're not about to do what I think you're about to do. Okay, yeah, we'll get to it. I can already see you building to it.
What are you talking about?
I can see you building, Tyler. I can see you putting down building blocks, constructing your argument.
So this is the best lead they've had on Rumlow in 6 months, and Steve doesn't want to lose them. They need to focus. Cap has Sam tag a garbage truck, and we see our first appearance of Red Wing, which is actually a
goated.
bird in the comics, which is crazy.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Well, can't he talk to birds in the
You just
comics?
sort of train a bird.
Maybe he just talk. I think he can talk to that bird. I don't know if he talks to just regular birds. But, you know, comics are dumb.
He has limited telepathic and empathic control over
yeah.
birds.
Over
Yeah,
all
he
birds?
can talk to birds.
That's,
Yeah, just birds.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Sam moves to fly in as we see Rumlow's real target, the Institute of Infectious Diseases. The truck rams into a guard tower, and things start to kick off in this opening action scene. Rumlow is now known as Crossbones for some reason.
Well, you know, the comics.
He wanted to seem cooler than he is. That's how I read it. He's just a dumbass who was just like, you know, if I'm gonna scare people, I need a cool fucking name. I need something that'll really scream, I'm a goddamn Nazi.
He is. I do like his outfit in this. I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
I like his little fists.
Yeah.
His little fist.
His little fists.
His little fucking hands.
Used
His little hands.
used by the Shocker later on.
Oh yeah, huh?
Oh shit.
Falcon flies Cap in, and the newbie Avengers show off their stuff. Rumlow grabs a specific vial with a bioweapon while Wanda filters out gas. Nat drives in and kicks a bunch of ass, but she gets grabbed by Crossbones, tossing a vehicle or a grenade. She kind of walks it off. That's okay. Rumlow instructs all of his men to take the bioweapon to the airstrip, and he's not going to meet up with them. Sam and Nat track down the payload as Red Wing saves Nat, but she won't thank the drone. Also, the guy who says he'll drop it or I'll drop this, that guy.
Yeah.
He played Thanos in Avengers 1.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Rumlow and Cap have a square off that ends in Rumlow attempting to suicide bomb and take out the both of them. But lucky for them, Wanda contains the blast and fucking throws it into the air, and it detonates right next to a building. She fucked up again.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cap really fucked up. Cap really fucked up because Cap should have clocked that. He even says it later in the movie that it is entirely his fault. There's no way you could blame this on what? Was she supposed to just let it blow up and kill everybody on the ground?
No.
At least he's trying to do something.
Maybe angle
Okay.
it.
Cap just
maybe angle it away from the
All right,
building.
man.
Angle
All
it where?
Away from
Now-
the building.
Now, I think the thing here is, like, yeah, Cap does admit his faults, and yeah, Wanda's not entirely to blame because the explosion was
Cap
a
is
lot of
more to
power.
blame,
She
You're
couldn't-
right.
correct.
Cap
She
is
couldn't
wrong.
physically contain it. I don't know. I feel like at this point,
It is Cap's fault. I'm glad we can all agree.
yeah. No, I'm trying to think of like other things that could have happened, and the only thing is you notice the bomb and you fucking restrain his hands.
Yeah, but he got distracted because, your pal, your friend, your Bucky.
Yeah.
You're Bucky.
What a fucking weird line also, though. Not the... I don't know. Rumlow's weird.
It's fine. Rumlow exists here just as the plot device.
Yeah,
Born-
what the fuck
Even
born
if
to
his
die.
lines are stupid, I don't care.
Is this a mission
fine.
for Hydra? Like, where is this thing going? Because he's planning to kill himself. Like, why did they get... It doesn't matter because it's not going to come back up. But, like, I don't know why he's doing any of this
Yeah,
at the
I got no
beginning.
idea.
He's a bad guy. Bad
Like,
guys
this
do
infectious
stuff.
disease never comes up again.
Yeah. Well, because they saved the day, They got it back, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, it's like, but
Yeah.
who was going to do it? Who is it?
I like
Shouldn't
to
you stop that guy?
I like to think that Nat grabbed that vial after the guy almost dropped it and let it break, and she just, like, sort of went, oh, close one, left it on the ground, and then walked off.
Dude, there is somebody in, like, a fucking bunker in the middle of some random country that is like, I'm so glad that the Avengers started fighting each other, because if they had chased that fucking mission back to me, I would have been fucked,
So we get a scene. We cut from that, terrible thing that happened. We cut from that to a scene of Maria Stark playing the piano before her and Howard have to leave, go on a trip. We get a young Tony Stark sleeping on the couch. The de-aging tech getting better and better.
Remember when that was, like, cutting edge? That was like, oh my god, look at it.
Yeah.
Now I was looking at it, I'm like, it still looks pretty good, but I was like, ooh.
I mean,
Looks weird.
having seen him in some of, like, the older movies that he's done, yeah, that's just what he looked like.
Yeah. It's just, it's a little blurry. Like, because it's old, and it was the first time they were doing it. The CG
Oh,
isn't,
okay, it's a little blurry, but it's fine
Yeah.
because at this point, you can write it off as like, oh, in universe it's a little blurry because that's the tech. Ooh.
I don't even think it's like I'm not trying to say it's negative or anything. I think it's, if anything, it's a testament to how far we've gotten that, like, probably too far, but that's a different story.
That's an entirely different
That's a
conversation.
different thing.
This
but,
is for movies, it's fine.
Yeah, but to, like, compare this to, like, the abomination they created of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian is like, damn, they really fucking have been working on this shit for the last,
Yeah.
8 years or however long.
So we get, be nice, dear. He's studying abroad. Really? Which one? What's her name? Fucking hour, dude. What's his face?
And he replies with a fucking name. I think he says like Catherine or something.
Candace.
Candace, there we go.
The Starks minus Tony are going to the Bahamas. Maria tells Tony that he'll miss them because this is the last time before their death. I love you, Dad. And I know you did the best you could. The real Tony introduced us to the binarily augmented retro framing, aka the BARF. Shouts to Quentin Beck. And also
No, don't shout him out. We'll get to that.
also no
Right
one's,
off screen.
no one's laughing in this scene.
Yeah?
It's almost like maybe he has a skewed perception of reality. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Maybe his reality is an illusion. It hijacks the hippocampus to clear traumatic memories. Doesn't change the fact that they never made it to the airport or all the things I did to avoid processing my grief. But Tony makes every student an equal recipient of the inaugural September Foundation grant, meaning all of their projects have been funded and approved, no strings attached. Tony freezes when the teleprompter has him introduce Pepper, who's not here because they're on a break or they couldn't pay her. So he just says, go break some eggs, which is something that was said in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, when you just were talking about the whole line about like it doesn't help I didn't process my grief or whatever. I thought you were saying it for a second. I was like, Jesus.
No, that's a different can of worms.
And then I was like, oh right, that's a line in the movie. I forgot.
Jim Rash, famously
the dean
from
the dean,
Community,
the dean.
not to be confused with the principal from Phil the Future, JP Minot.
For a second I looked and I was like, wait, no, that can't be.
They
and
just
then I
look,
looked and it wasn't.
They just look eerily
Mr. Community.
similar.
Yeah.
And then
isn't bald
JP
white
Minot-
guy.
He played a fake dean in an episode.
Yes,
something.
he played the dean, the imposter dean, when Chang took over this. Guys, Community's great.
He asked if it'll be made available to faculty because he's got an idea for a self-cooking hot dog. While heading to the elevator, Alfre Woodard, who plays night nurse in the Luke Cage show, she works for the State Department, is here to tell Tony about her son, Charlie Spencer, who was killed during the Ultron attack in Sokovia. Who's going to avenge my son, Stark? He's dead. I blame you.
Yeah. Tony really fucked up, huh, guys?
The news tells us that 11 Wakandans
really puts
were
Wanda
killed.
Stuff in perspective, doesn't it?
No.
I want you to know I'm glaring
it.
at the PC right now.
I don't even mean it. I just thought of it and I was like, that's gonna hit.
So 11 Wakandans were killed in the Lagos attack, and King T'Chaka is on the news to say that victory at the expense of the innocent is no victory at all. Wanda's in her room watching the news as well, and she blames herself. It's kind of her fault. But Steve blames himself too because he got distracted by Rumlow mentioning Bucky. Says, this job, we try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes that doesn't mean everybody. If we can't find a way to live with that, then maybe next time nobody gets saved. Vision comes through the wall in a nice sweater to tell Steve
God, I love Vision.
that Tony is here with the Secretary of State, Thaddeus Ross. Last seen in The Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Also, rest in peace,
Rip.
William Hurt.
Yeah. Dude, he's so good in this movie.
He tells them that the world owes the Avengers of unpayable debt, but while many see them as heroes, others see them as vigilantes. And then he shows footage of all the attacks that happened, all the major events from New York to DC, Sokovia, and now Lagos. And we also get death counts for each of these. So New York, 74. They said that in the movie. DC, 23 people died from Project Insight. Sokovia, 177. Pretty low. And Lagos, 26. Totaling up to 300. So actually, you know what? Not that many, you know?
Per incident, it seems shockingly low. But this movie really hammers it home that those aren't just numbers, those are people who had lives that they were living. So
I mean, one of them was Zemo, so I mean, maybe they deserved it.
Oh my God.
God, man.
Oh my God.
The governments of the world can no longer tolerate the Avengers' unlimited power and lack of supervision. The solution is the Sokovia Accords, mentioned in Ant-Man, which states that the Avengers will operate under the supervision of the UN panel when deemed necessary. It says, tell me, Captain, do you know where Thor and Banner are right now? If I misplace a couple of 30 megaton nukes, you can bet there'd be consequences. They either accept the Accords, or they retire. There's not really an option here.
This is where I start to bump against the Civil War adaptation stuff.
Okay.
My biggest problem with this movie, well, not even this movie, about this conundrum that people are trying to make you argue over, right? Is pro or against the Accords, government oversight. In the comics, it's superhero registration. It's putting everybody on a list, or superhuman registration. Like, it's not just, oh yeah, we'll agree to like, not use our power. Like, if we don't use our powers, we're fine. We don't have to be, like, we don't have to be part of this team or whatever. We can just go live our lives. In the comics, it's like, no, if you have powers, we're putting you on a fucking list and we're watching you. But the problem with this one as well that I bump into is it tries to apply real world logic to like this superhero series where, to quote The Last of Us, the government are Nazis. Like, in the real world, absolutely, the Avengers would have to be under some sort of government supervision, but like, this isn't the real world. This is a world where people, like, you can trust this team, and you're supposed to be able to trust this team because they're superheroes.
Well, we're trying to ground it in some manner of like realism, because this is very much not a comic book. These are real people on a screen, so you have to apply that kind of real world logic to it. Second off, yeah, a lot of people in the government were outed as fucking Nazis, but like, they're outed. They're fucking gone. And third of all, this is 117 fucking countries.
True.
I don't know if they're all gone, but
well, okay, a good number of them are outed.
We don't talk about all the information that get out. We don't really address what exactly happened after that. But
yeah,
I don't think they do a good enough job of selling me on the idea that the Avengers aren't good enough that they require some sort of oversight board. Like, at the end of the day, all of these people are like good enough people that like you can trust them to do the right thing. Like, sure, they're trying to ground it a little bit, but these characters are still like, they're not very gray.
I mean, I get that, but it's not about that. I think part of the reason why it's specifically Thaddeus Ross who we see being like the liaison between the US government and the Avengers is to highlight that, yeah, it's a shit situation, and yeah, the Avengers are kind people who have good intentions, but, international incidents are a problem. International incidents are a thing that need to be checked.
You guys just kind of go wherever you want, and you kind of leave some fucked up shit when you leave.
Yeah, like, it's the... This movie is really emphasizing and highlighting this over the course of its many, many fucking, like, chase scenes and action scenes, that they sort of just leave. They don't participate in any kind of major cleanup. Like maybe Tony does, because he has, like, a cleanup crew come in for New York or whatever, but for the most part, they do their shit. Things are destroyed, and sometimes lives are lost, and then they just go on their way.
And like, I think that part kind of, they do an okay job of trying to put that in there. I don't buy the Sokovia Accords as being like something that you would debate over, like whether this is necessary or not. Like, these, like, what the fuck, the government wouldn't have let them go or whatever, or then they want to go somewhere, or they're told to go somewhere they're not supposed to go. It's just like, these aren't characters that need a government oversight to like the fucking Suicide Squad or whatever. Yeah, they need the government to tell them where to go.
It's not about whether they need the government oversight. The point is that, like, this is the issue. This is the core issue of the entire film. Whether or not it's needed is less of the point than like.
But they want you to have the debate about whether it's needed. It's like the big, which side are you on? Are you pro or against the Accords? And I just don't think the Accords make sense, like, for there to be a pro or against argument.
Yeah, that's absolutely valid.
For
it.
If 117 countries come together and say, you fucked up, please sign, I think maybe 117 countries have a point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No,
they were really good at finding their Nazis. Like,
okay, but
you can't do this 2 years after you were just like, hey, nobody knew that Nazis were running the world for 50 fucking years. Like, you can't. It doesn't work. It's like, okay, so we found one of them, but like, you've just shown that you're incompetent. So how many more terrible things are happening and we don't know about it?
Shawn, that's just the real world,
it's
dude.
just. But it doesn't work with this superhero story about like, hey, it's Captain America who's gonna always do like what is morally right, or Iron Man who's always gonna do what's morally right.
Like, I don't know about that.
Like, these people are always going to be like, I'm going to save the most people and, like, save the world. Like, yes, a lot of people died in Sokovia, but they were going to fucking extinction event the planet. Like, it's awful, but it's not like there was an alternative.
Well,
Unless the alternative is Tony Stark doesn't make Ultron to begin with.
yeah, the consideration there is just, yeah, it's still technically their fault because Tony built Ultron, good intentions or not. That still happened. There was still a rampage, and the results of that event were that people died, and a country was basically fucking destroyed. The Accords themselves bring up a bunch of issues, like, logic-wise, but they also bring up a bunch of issues character-wise, because, you mentioned these heroes consistently doing what is morally right, and some heroes don't do that throughout this movie. They act, on their own selfish intentions rather than what is morally right.
You're right. Iron Man does act on his own selfish intentions.
I'm going to slap you. I knew this would happen. I fucking knew this shit would happen.
All right, so in Cleveland, right, a man is eating when he hears a noise, and he's finding that someone has hit his car. He tries to stay a notice, but he definitely doesn't want the cops called, as we see a shot of a gun. When he opens the door, he gets ambushed by one Helmut Zemo. Zemo ties him up and uses a sledgehammer to find the red book and use to control the Winter Soldier, and a file linking this guy to Hydra. This guy's being waterboarded upside down, and Zemo wants to know about the mission that happened on December 16th, 1991. Zemo found this guy when Nat leaked all the Hydra files. Zemo doesn't want to use this book to find out what he needs, but the Hydra man refuses to spill the beans and gives us a Hell Hydra before becoming a Hydro Man. Back at the Avengers compound, Sam and Rhodey debate, putting Tony in a personal hell about how to go about this until Vision chimes in. He says that in the 8 years since Tony came out as Iron Man, more known enhanced people have skyrocketed, and the same with the world-ending events. He says our very strength invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict, and conflict breeds catastrophe. They shouldn't dismiss the idea of oversight. The lines are being drawn here. Tony brings up Charlie Spencer. There's only one decision to be made. We need to be put in check. Whatever form that takes, I'm game. We can't accept limitations. If we're boundaryless, we're no better than the bad guys. This man is spitting.
Mm-hmm.
The main debate here...
Very funny coming from Tony. Very funny coming from Tony.
The main debate here is that a panel has agendas. If they send them somewhere where they don't think they should be, or the opposite, the safest hands are still our own. Nat chimes in, agreeing with Tony, saying they would need to win the people's trust back. Steve gets a text from, I assume, it's from someone. I don't know who, actually. I would assume.
I feel like it's likely to either be the actual, like, nursing home that she was in or Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
I had assumed Sharon, which that's a whole other fucking...
Saying
yeah, that's another butchering of character.
Saying that Peggy passed away in her sleep, and he kind of sulks in the stairway. In London, at the funeral, he helps carry the casket. The priest has Sharon come up and speak. This is when Cap finds out that she and Peggy are related. And he thinks to himself, this is my chance. Sam's here too. And here's where we get the line, compromise where you can, and where you can't, don't. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, it is your duty to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eye and say, no, you move. Nat comes to talk to Cap after the funeral. She tells him that Tony, Rhodey, and Vision signed the Accords. Clint is retiring. Wanda hasn't decided, and she's off to Vienna for the signing. Steve won't sign, though, and she knows. She's just here as a friend. In Vienna, at the Accord signing, we see Prince T'Challa, played by the late, great Chadwick Boseman.
Man.
Yeah.
Also, today is the day that Wakanda Forever is on Disney+.
Appropriately enough, yeah.
And I think he's the best part of this movie.
Yeah,
Just straight up.
He's very
right
good in this
here.
movie.
He tells Nat that both him and her both aren't very used to the spotlight, and that she might not be too comfortable here considering what she did in DC. 2 people in the room can get more done than 100, and it's when a dad chimes in, unless you need to move a piano. King T'Chaka was given a rousing speech about how this terrible accident won't drive them back into the shadows before T'Challa notices the commotion outside and warns everyone to get down before a massive bomb explosion. Unfortunately, King T'Chaka did not make it. Sharon and Steve talk about Peggy and how the CIA has her stationed in Berlin. Sam comes up to show him the news of what happened and how the suspect is assumed to be Bucky. On a bench, Nat talks to T'Challa, who holds his father's ring. In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. He says his father thought it was peaceful, but he's not his father. She tells him that the task force will take care of it, not do anything risky, but he says, "Don't bother, Miss Romanoff. I'll kill him myself."
God.
She gets a call from Steve, and she tells him that he'll only make things worse if he steps in. He meets up with Sam, who tells him that that she might have a point. And Sam says the people that shoot at you usually wind up shooting at me. Sharon comes in with the intel from the CIA to give to Steve a slight head start, and tell them that they have orders to shoot on sight. Back to Zemo. He's practicing his Russian with the red book when he gets a knock at the door. It's just housekeeping with his breakfast. He won't let her come in though because he has like a EMP or something stashed away in the room. Bucky is out buying fruit in Bucharest when a newspaper vendor recognizes him and runs. Steve is at his apartment when Bucky comes in and they talk while Sam updates Steve on the authorities' location. The authorities come in and Cap and Steve take them out kind of violently.
Yeah. It's a great fight. It fucking... I like the whole time they're going through it. Cap's like, "Come on, man, calm down." Like when Bucky like throws somebody over the ledge or something, and Cap has to like catch him, and Cap's like, "Really, dude, come on."
I do especially like oh yeah, I specifically wrote this down where where Steve has to like pull Bucky back and be like, "Buck, you're gonna hurt someone." Bucky goes, "I'm not gonna kill anyone." Not 30 seconds later, takes a fucking cinder block from the ground, slams it into a man's chest. He flies backwards, and those are broken ribs and maybe punctured lungs, man. You hurt. You might have killed that man.
Don't worry, this is Marvel. Earlier, Black Widow got thrown headfirst into a tank. I think they're gonna be okay.
She's a named character. They're not. I'm not sure.
That's true. No, you're right. You're right. Unnamed characters do not have plot armor.
Bucky hops to another roof, and here comes the Black Panther to take him on.
God. Oh.
Falcon drop kicks a helicopter and then drops Steve off as the chase continues in a tunnel with 3 guys who are all running faster than cars.
It's so funny.
So cool.
And the cops are telling them to stand down. Cap is ramming his car into other cops and driving into oncoming traffic. Captain America. That's not cool. I don't care if you are in Germany right now.
I don't know, dude. Look at the German history. I'm kidding.
No, that's staying in. That one's definitely staying in.
No, keep it in. Well, you can keep it in.
That one's going in the trailer reel.
Yeah, that just take it out of context.
Nah.
Yeah, the episode preview will just be that
featuring
and nothing
Shawn
else.
AOK. Hey man, look at the German history.
You cut it so well that you don't know if I'm like arguing for or against. Like, hey man.
So Bucky takes a motorcycle, which is pretty cool. The Black Panther.
Yeah, they do a good sound too when he flips it around.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, it's really good.
Black Panther jumps on him and gets grabbed by the neck. He catches it right on Falcon. Yeah. And Bucky throws a bomb at the entrance of this tunnel. Which, by the way, isn't going to help these bomb allegations that he's under right now.
Yeah, no.
For real.
I just want to throw this out here. I don't defend Bucky. Bucky knows what he's doing.
I think Bucky might be one of the characters you can defend the most because he's just trying to like lay low and
Commit
not
terrorism.
do shit. And then they're accusing him of terrorism that he did not fucking do. And he's just like, come on, man, what the fuck?
So he's like, all
I
right,
just wanted
I'll
to
do
buy
some action.
blueberries.
Anyways, fuck this tunnel, dude.
He's like, if you're gonna accuse me of blowing things up, might as well actually blow things up.
Yeah.
Cap runs out of a flipping car before they're all surrounded by the...
Dude, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because he just runs out of it.
He's outrunning the crash, is what's great. Is like, it's crashing behind him, but he's running so fast that he's like outrunning. Oh, it's so good.
Before they're all surrounded by the cops and Rhodey in his Mark II armor that has a decal on it showing how many Ultron bots he's destroyed. I think it's like 23 or something.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I love that though.
He comes in and make them stand down. Congratulations, Cap. You're a criminal. Black Panther takes off his helmet to reveal that he is Prince T'Challa. If you weren't aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you weren't aware of the line, I'll kill him myself.
Yeah. Hey, I remember going to see this with my family and then being like, oh, it's that guy.
So Vision is trying to make pepper cash for Wanda to lift her spirit, but it's terrible
Love
because
Vision.
he's never
Love
eaten
Vision.
before. He tells her that
So good.
that it's a chemical in people's brains that makes people unable to not be afraid of her. But they don't dislike her. You know, he's putting the riz on.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah,
Hold
I
up.
mean,
Let him cook.
don't let him cook, but they talk about how their abilities don't make them monsters and they shouldn't be afraid of them. She says there's not paprika in the dish and she'll go to the store to get some, but Vision won't let her leave. Tony doesn't want another public incident until the Accords are more stable.
Yeah. You know, Tony Stark holding somebody captive against their will.
I think it's pretty reasonable, you know.
It's
Yeah. Oh, you think holding somebody captive against their will is pretty reasonable?
Captive
I
is a
think
strong
that he
word.
might have a fucking point.
Captive is a
Because
strong
what if
word.
somebody looks at her, freaks the fuck out too badly, and goes to attack her? And then in her self-defense, some shit happens. I don't fucking know.
Then she
Maybe
turns
lay
her
low
bone
for a
into
little
jelly.
bit, and then you can go to the store to buy fucking paprika.
And if you try to leave, I will force you to stay.
I mean, she could always magic her way out of there. I mean, she just didn't want to fight Vision.
You still are forcing her to
Look,
stay,
if someone was
even
like-
if she can fight
Someone
back.
was like, Tyler, you fucked up. You gotta stay in the Avengers compound for a while. I'd be like,
there's a line much later that I went, yeah, no, he's spitting.
yeah.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit, jumping ahead a couple scenes, but it's when Tony and Steve are arguing about the house arrest, like right now. And then Tony just screams, "They don't grant visas to weapons of mass destruction."
That's
but
true.
they do grant visas to people, which she's still a person.
Yeah, and right now she's in the
and they-
country without a real visa, so they could kick her out, and he doesn't want that to happen.
Isn't she? Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that she's there legally at this point. Like,
Is she? Or did
how long has
Steve
she been
let her
operating?
come back as an
But-
Avenger without any real credentials?
Yeah.
I feel like at that point you're adding on to the story stuff that isn't like stated. Whereas we do
The
see
story
later
stuff
on
that is stated is that she doesn't have a fucking visa, man.
there-
It is literally stated.
I-
I quoted a line that states it.
I don't know if I take that line to mean that she doesn't have like a visa.
They don't
like-
grant
or-
visas to weapons
like-
of mass destruction. I
Is-
don't know
so-
what to tell
so
you.
Then are you saying that she's there illegally? Like,
Possibly.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that she, like, maybe she can't leave the country, but I don't buy that, like, there's not some sort of legal allowment for her to be there, to live. Like, if later on Hawkeye showed up and was like, yeah, and Vision was like, yeah, I'm allowed to let you go on. Like, I was supposed to tell you to stay, but I couldn't stop you because that would be, holding you captive against your will. But no, he's like, I'm gonna fight and force you to stay here under orders of Tony Stark. Like, Tony Stark is in the wrong for holding her captive. Now, I'm not, I'm gonna say this now because I don't want to get through. Like, I don't want to wait until we get further in. I think
Okay.
Captain America is also in the fucking wrong so many times in this movie. I
Yeah,
think the whole
fair.
point of this movie is that both of them are fucking wrong constantly. But like, this is wrong. What they're doing with Wanda is wrong.
Just safer to keep her in, dude. Just, like, get some Uber Eats or DoorDash or something. You know, I'm sure they delivered to the Avengers compound. Like, why would you not? Right?
Yeah.
So
I don't just want to spend the entire podcast arguing this, but like I have my stance, you have yours, that's it.
oh no, the real Civil War.
It's happening.
In Berlin, they transport Bucky, Cap, Sam, and T'Challa to a holding facility. Sam has some funny dialogue while they ride in the truck, you know. So you like cats? Dude shows up dressed like a cat and you don't want to know more? I like Sam. He's a funny dude.
Yeah, he's got some good lines in this movie.
T'Challa tells us that the Black Panther has been the protector of Wakanda for generations. He also says, like, how long do you think you can keep your friend safe from me? Oh, shit. A cold dude. At the facility, they're greeted by Everett Ross. No relation or relationship to Secretary of State. Daddy is Ross. But he is married to someone else. Well, he was married to someone else important. Also played by Martin Freeman, of all people. It says they should be evaluated. But for now, their gear's going into lockup. And they're getting put into an office and not a cell. Thanks to Tony. A nice guy. Somewhere else in the city, a truck driver from earlier, we see him earlier during the chase, but he's delivering this package to a power grid station or something like that. Tony comes to talk to Steve and to show him some pins that FDR used to sign the land lease bill in 1941. Tony trying to give an olive branch, and Steve brings up Pepper, who isn't here. Tony trashed all of his suits in Iron Man 3, but then he had to go help mop up Hydra, and then Ultron happened, and then he didn't stop because he didn't want to stop. And then Tony, you know, he used to hate Steve because his dad always brought him up.
Didn't at the Age of Ultron they say that he was stopping?
Well, he was trying to stop, and that's how Ultron happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought like when he drives away at the end of Ultron, that's him being like, "Peace out."
Yeah, but the
happened.
point of this is that he could never like fully stay away
Yeah.
from the suits, from being Iron Man.
Yeah, so he just kept making more like in his basement or whatever. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It's it's the same thing they do a couple times throughout the MCU.
I don't think he makes that many anymore. No, at least not in Iron Man 3. From them,
I guess I just don't know what that line is supposed to mean if he's not like working on the suits because he's not being an Avenger.
well, I mean, every
Like, I
time he
don't know
shows
what
up,
and then
he's
and
got a
then
new
is.
suit, a new Mark suit.
Yeah, so he's got to be making new ones.
He's not
right?
like maniac.
He might be
he's not
like-
not
Oh, he doesn't have like a collection like he did. I just meant that like he's still working on it.
He's mostly just like upgrading and iterating.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah.
like going overboard the way he did in 3 due to PTSD and fucked up issues.
because Tony learns
Yeah.
from his mistakes.
He did.
No, sometimes
At
I
least in
want
that
to
aspect.
punch you in your perfect teeth, but I don't want to see you gone. We need you, Cap. Tony just wants this to go the right way. If Steve signs, Bucky gets sent to an American psych center instead of Wakandan prison. Steve is warming up to the idea until he finds out that Wanda's under house arrest.
Yeah, until he finds out that Wanda's a prisoner.
House arrest is not the same as a prisoner.
She's a prisoner.
She could play Guitar Hero. That's not prison.
She's a prisoner. She can't leave.
Why would she want to? You know, honestly.
Look, this is Vision's chance to get in there. You gotta give him the chance to cook, man.
We can't let him cook. We've seen what happens.
No, we gotta let him cook. We know how this ends.
He thinks paprika goes in it.
Look, it's funny. It's
No, it's
quirky
great.
and
I love
funny.
it.
He's a
I love
little
it.
guy.
He's my favorite. I love him.
They yell a bit, you know, I'm doing what has to be done to stave off something worse. You keep telling yourself that. In Bucky's room, he's being evaluated by a UN-appointed psychiatrist or some kind of professional doctor who's asking him questions about his name and where he is. And we come back to the power grid place where delivery guy drops off the package. Steve thinks that someone framed Bucky for this to bring him out of hiding. Doesn't guarantee whoever framed him would get him, though, only that the authorities would, which is exactly what they wanted considering Zimo's actually a psychiatrist. Easy. The guy at the power grid place opens the package and the EMP thing goes off, shutting off the power to the city and the facility. Cap and Sam head towards Bucky's cell and Zemo starts activating the Winter Soldier. Bucky tries to break out to stop it, but he is a couple words too late. Sam and Cap walk in to see Zemo on the floor, pretending to be hurt, but Cap knows, and a fight breaks out with a mind-controlled Bucky. Sam gets up to chase Zemo. The whole place is in a panic, and Tony doesn't have an Iron Man suit with him. Steve and Buck are fighting in the cafe-like area, and Tony comes in to help with his watch that acts as a repulsor glove. Pretty cool watch.
It's so cool.
All over the trailers.
It is so very cool.
It's a good thing he's been training because Bucky almost shoots him in the face. And I like the little surprise face he has when that happens.
He's like, oh my God.
Sharon steps up and gets thrown into a table. Nat steps up to saddle Bucky again and gets choked. This is like her third encounter with the fucking Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Poor Nat.
Like, could you at least remember?
Taking a break. Yeah.
T'Challa steps up to fight him, and he's actually a match. And
Dude,
kicks
it's
him
so
over a
cool.
ledge.
And the little sound that plays when he like jumps into frame is
little
God.
drums.
Yeah.
But when he jumps down, Bucky's gone. Bucky tries to fly away in a helicopter, and we get the most jacked scene of Steve we've ever gotten.
Yep.
So good.
I think he actually hurt himself in this scene.
He must have, right?
Probably.
Bucky chokes Steve, and they fall into the river. And Steve pulls Bucky out this time.
Yo.
Zemo is in a cafe or something. He's on the phone, or so we think, with his wife, and then gets on a plane for Moscow. I guess he'd be in an airport at that point. Bucky wakes up with his arm in a vice, and Bucky is aware of his and Steve's past, so he's no longer under control of the words. He asked what he did, which luckily was nothing too severe, but it was enough. Property damage, though. No joke. Also, this scene is stolen directly from Ant-Man. It's actually kind of nutty how they did that.
Or did Ant-Man steal this directly from this movie? I think it's probably that way.
Probably that
Which movie
way.
came out first?
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just when you think about it, right? This movie looks this scene looks nothing like Ant-Man. It looks everything like, in terms of like color grading and just the way it's shot and everything, looks like this movie.
They used different cameras that day. I don't know what to tell you, Shawn.
You know what? Sure. I believe it. Sure.
Bucky doesn't know who that guy was, but he did keep asking about Siberia and where Bucky was kept. And we learned that he's not the only Winter Soldier. In 1991, when Bucky crashed the car and took the Super Soldier Serum, they used it to make more Winter Soldiers, who all tried to revolt pretty early on. They were the most elite death squad in Hydra even before the serum, and they turned out worse than Bucky. And then we get the scene. Oh yeah, the scene stolen from Ant-Man. It's in my notes. They don't know if Tony can help because of the Accords, so they go with a different option. Sam knows a guy. Back at the holding facility, Ross asks Tony where they could be. Tony convinces Ross to let them bring in Bucky, Sam, and Cap. They're understaffed right now, and Nat has an idea for hers. And hers is downstairs, but where's Tony's? In Queens, we're introduced to Peter Parker.
Let's go!
Played by Tom Holland, a.k.a. Mr. Zendaya.
Yes. A.k.a. the best Peter Parker slash Spider-Man. Also, the Queen's title card drop is so good.
Yeah.
I love that they don't do the location cards anymore after this. It's like you're waiting for the Queen's one.
Well, yeah, because everybody
right?
knew Spider-Man was going to be in this movie. And
yeah, it was so hype.
I remember in the theater when that Queen's title card dropped, you could hear
yeah.
It was fucking phenomenal. Everybody in that theater was so excited.
Yeah.
And we also meet his Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei, the love of my life. in a movie with Scarlett Johansson and Emily Van Camp and there's one more woman in this movie. There's one more.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. Marissa Tomei.
Literally Wanda Maximoff.
Marissa Tomei. Really enchanting me right now.
I love her as Aunt May. She's probably my favorite iteration out of all of them.
I like her the most because she looks like an aunt and not a grandma. And not
To be fair, even in the comics, Aunt May has been on death's door since the 70s.
Yeah. She's always looked really old. I guess Grandma May just doesn't have the same ring to it, you know?
I do prefer, like, this and Ultimate Spider-Man made her look a little bit younger and a little more age-appropriate to be Aunt May. But it's not like the other movies got old Aunt May from nowhere. And you know what? Sally Fields as Aunt May doesn't look that old.
Yeah, Sally Fields' Aunt May is played a lot younger than, like...
It's really just Rosemary
Raimi
Harris.
Spider-Man's Aunt May.
Yeah. Which, I love Rosemary Harris as Aunt May in the Raimi Spider-Man movies, but also... Yeah,
finish the prayer!
She's about to drop that. Yeah.
So he walks in, talks about his day, until he notices that Tony Stark is in his apartment. And Tony's clearly risen up May. But she gives him some time alone, and Tony pulls up some videos of the Spider-Man to ask if that's Peter. He reveals where Peter
I don't know.
keeps his suit. He says, "You're a spiderling. Crime-fighting spider? You're Spider-Boy?" No one knows who's under the Spider-Man mask. He makes his own webs. The goggles help him focus. Tony thinks he needs an upgrade. But first he needs to know why he's doing this. And first off, this is where the problems start. Right? This is where the internet really
They
started.
didn't like this.
They say, "What do you mean he's going to get an upgrade from someone else?"
This is where the bad opinions truly begin.
Yeah.
But Peter says, "When you can do the things that I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you." Also,
Now Tyler... Sorry, you're describing this whole scene, and I think we're watching different versions of this movie, because, I mean, that's not Tony Stark in that scene. That's clearly Norman Osborn.
ah, shit. You know what? You're right. That is Norman Osborn.
Man, why'd they put the wrong version on Disney Plus, man?
That's crazy. I don't know, it's nuts.
This in the
This is the IMAX cut, I think, is
Yeah.
what it is. I don't...
It would have been a different cut in the movie. Even the, like,
Yeah.
like, what's the cameras even look different. Like,
Yeah.
the lenses are just doing something different to the scene.
Yeah, they color graded this one really weird,
Yeah.
Shawn.
Yeah. I didn't really notice it until now, but you know what? Now that you say it,
But
a
also,
lot of CG or something.
Peter has had his power for 6 months at this point. At the Avengers compound, there's an explosion outside.
Sorry. For real, I do think that scene between the two of them is one of my favorites in the whole MCU for both of them. Like, I think they both give really good performances in that scene.
Yeah. I like when Tony was like, "Scoot over so I can sit down."
Yeah, it's so good. I think the scene is fundamental to why I adore the Tony Peter relationship throughout the MCU as it goes on. Because as far as parallel stories, boom. Yeah, it's they have like the same kind of motivation of just like, if I can help people, I need to. Otherwise, it's my fault. And I adore that, and people who hate the fact that Tony mentors this version of Peter Parker.
So weird. I'm sorry. It's so weird.
You can dislike it, but dislike it like a normal person, and then don't just make it your whole personality every time a new Spider-Man comes out, because then I'll just shout louder, "I fucking love this shit, dude!" You know?
Impossible. You're saying I a reasonable amount of dislike and not just overwhelming hatred?
I'm asking Marvel fans to be normal, and that's my fault for expecting them to be able to be normal, but, you know.
It's a tough ask.
I know. Yeah, that's on me, mostly.
So
yeah, it's on you that they don't act normal. That's your fault.
No, that's on me for hoping and praying that they might act normal for once.
So at the Avengers compound, there's an explosion outside. So Vision goes to check it out. Wanda senses something, and it's Clint fucking Barton. What are you doing here? Disappointing my kids.
Gotta bring up, why am I blanking on the
Jeremy
actor's
Renner.
name? Jeremy Renner. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
man, that's, and he's so good. I love him as Hawkeye.
He comes to get Wanda out for Cap. He traps Vision in like an energy field and tries to hurry out of there, but Wanda's pretty hesitant. Vision locks Clint in like a chokehold, and Wanda forces him to let go and then makes him so dense that he crashes through the floor and into the earth.
I love how out of his element Clint is for this whole fight. Like, I like when he pulls out his little baton and he's like, "Oh, it didn't stretch or whatever. I knew I should have stretched." And then when he starts hitting Vision in the face with it, and then it just snaps. Like, I like that.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from showing in these movies that like Clint really shouldn't be.
Yeah. Nat waits for T'Challa and is confronted by Ao, who isn't named in this movie. But she says, "Move or you will be moved." She knows someone who knows where Bucky is. Do we ever get that answered?
I don't. Who knew where Bucky was?
I don't think we ever did.
Okay. The Russo brothers.
Yeah, ruins the movie. No, I'm kidding.
Steve.
Marcus and McFeely.
So here's something that we're gonna have a talk about. Steve meets up with Sharon to get their gear back.
Ugh.
A move that, one, she will regret, and two, will make for the worst twist I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yep.
So we do get the scene. Can you move your seat up? No.
Yeah.
And,
I was
and
about
then-
to say, this is both the best and worst part of the movie because it
Yeah.
has the fucking Sam and Bucky scene in it.
Sharon
Yeah,
has to
and
go
then,
on the.
like, after.
Keep going.
Sorry,
Keep going.
just like a minute after that conversation, you see Bucky like visibly try to scoot a little to the
Yeah.
left. It's so good. Their dynamic has always been like one of my fucking favorites.
It's really good.
Sharon has to go on the run for stealing this gear back, and then she and Steve kiss, and it's weird. You shouldn't have done that.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that. And they never touch on that again. Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Doesn't Steve also have a line of where she just like starts and she goes, "That was," and he goes, "long overdue" or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is
Which-
worse.
Yeah. Because
It's
that's not a Steve thing.
bro.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a Steve thing to say. To be fair, I think it is trying to imply that he had a thing for her, like way back in Winter Soldier.
Which I
before
can
he knew,
understand, but then you learn that she's the niece of the woman you loved,
Which is like,
who
you
just
gotta be like, all right,
died.
Yeah, she did just die.
Yeah.
You were at her funeral.
you gotta, you gotta. There's a time and place.
You
Man
touched
needs
the
better
coffin.
coping mechanisms is all I'm saying.
You gotta. As soon as you find out she's the niece, that's when you're like, okay, delete the
yeah.
number.
At that point, you just sort of reconcile. All right, no thanks, no, that'd be weird. Can't do that. No.
Especially when
That's
it's
when you
like
sign back up on Tinder and you
When-
go looking for someone else.
when it's like a lot of the stuff he's been going through, like in his own psyche, has been like the dance and missing out on all that time with Peggy, and she's in a lot of those flashback stuff. And I guess she's dead now, so he's like, fucking close enough. Still get those Carter jeans, baby. I don't know. It's a really weird scene. They should have cut that one.
It's very weird. But then how would we get the greatest twist of all time in Falcon and Winter Soldier?
We wouldn't, and we'd all be better off for it. So they drive up to meet Clint, who's brought Wanda and their other recruit, Scott Lang.
God, thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd is so fucking funny, dude.
They're
He
excited
has
to
so
meet
much
Captain
fun with
America.
this. It's so good.
Captain America, it's an honor. I'm shaking your hand too long. Wow, this is awesome. Captain America. Hey, I know you too. You're great.
He just goes, "Thanks for thanking of me."
He like touches his shoulder. They have a chopper lined up to go to Siberia, but Bucky translates the airport PA. They're evacuating. Stark is here. Time to suit up. Steve runs towards a helicopter only for it to be disabled by Tony, who flies in with Rhodey. Steve tells him that Zemo's behind all of this and that there are 5 more super soldiers like Bucky who he doesn't want Zemo to get to.
And Tony pretends that he didn't hear him.
He heard him. He thinks about it. Lower.
Does he even think about it?
On the priority list, you know.
So I want to get this out of the way because like then I can talk about how cool this fight scene is. This was the part earlier on where I was like, there's a part of this movie that took me way out because everybody just starts acting completely out of character and it makes no sense. And that is the airport fight scene.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Fucking loved this fight scene when I saw it in 2016. I was sitting in the movie theater. It's fucking awesome. Like, and I think still it is a very fun fight to watch when you disconnect it from everything else that is happening in this movie. But then when you get to this part of the movie where you have been told over and over again that, oh man, friendships are breaking up. Like these people care about each other. If my friend was like, fucking 5, dude, listen, we've been through hell together. There's 5 assassins. They're gonna fucking destroy the world if we don't go stop them. We gotta do this. I'd be like, okay, maybe I should listen. And similarly, if my friend was like really gung-ho about not listening, I would try more than once during this 20-minute fight where everybody is cracking jokes while they hit each other to convince them that, hey, maybe we shouldn't be beating the shit out of our friends and instead should be working together. Like, I think everybody involved in this fight except for T'Challa is out of their fucking mind. Like, nobody is acting.
T'Challa like Peter.
And Ant-Man.
Yeah, Peter fair.
Because
Peter
also
and
has
fair.
like no personal stakes in this.
No, totally fair. Peter has no idea what's going on. Ant-Man, also, I'll give it to Ant-Man. Scott doesn't really doesn't know what's happening.
He's the Peter of their side. You know, he's starstruck by Captain America. Peter's
yeah,
starstruck
he's in
by
the hero
Iron Man.
worship phase of like meeting your heroes.
And T'Challa doesn't give a fuck about the Accords. He just wants
to kill
Bucky dead.
Yeah.
And I get it. Totally fine. Character motivation tracks. And I will now enjoy this fight scene with you and think about how cool a lot of what we get to see in this fight scene is. But like, just the entire time I was watching this, I was like when it's like, oh, are we gonna be friends after this? I don't know. It depends on how hard you hit me. Like, I don't hate that line, but
and then Wanda immediately just like beating her ass and going, "You were pulling your punches." It's like, yeah, I wonder why he was pulling his punches on his longtime best friend.
But also, it's like, hey, you fucking don't joke. Take that time to be like, nah, listen, there's fucking assassins. We have to like talk about this. Like, and then she changes her mind at the end, which is like, but why? Like, you guys didn't talk about this. You guys just punched each other because you were both unwilling to actually talk about what you needed to. Like, characters being unwilling to talk about things that would like solve all the problems is my biggest pet peeve in all of fiction. And that's all I could think about while I was watching this airport fight scene is if they just talked, this would go so differently.
Welcome to the fan fiction trope of if we had a single conversation where we weren't just having a pissing contest, none of this would have happened. But I'm sorry to say, you're sitting through the the worst case of that in a film that I've seen in a long time.
It's so bad. Cool fight scene though, and I will now enjoy it.
Yeah.
So Black Panther and Nat show up as well. Tony gives the code word under ruse. And that's when Spider-Man comes in. The perfect suit.
It's so good.
Moving eyes. It's great. I remember watching this trailer. I was in college at the time, back before I flunked out. That I was sitting in an American deli. I could picture it. I could tell you exactly where I was sitting. Watching this trailer on my phone and seeing Spider-Man show up at the end. And like flipping the fuck out. Like, oh my, they're fucking bringing Spider-Man in the movie. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. And then I watched that trailer like 800 more times. He takes Cap's shield and he whips his hands. And Tony's like, I'm trying to keep you from tearing the Avengers apart. You did that when you signed. I don't know about that one, Cap. That's all I'm saying.
Cap, the Accords aren't important anymore. Like, why the fuck are you still talking about this?
Yeah, literally. Like, at this point, you're not even half as invested. You're just saying that to be a petty bitch, Steve.
Fucking Steve. Falcon finds the Quinjet and Cap enacts his plan, starting with Ant-Man taking the shield back from Spidey. A fight breaks out. Tony goes for Wanda. Black Panther and Spidey go for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Move, Captain. I won't ask a second time. Ant-Man and Nat go at it. Spidey starts climbing walls. And Bucky's like, what the hell was that? Everyone's got a gimmick now. Says the man with
So fucking
says the
good.
man with the fucking
Says the man with a fucking drone he calls Red Wing. Fucking hypocrite.
He means everybody, you know?
Yeah, himself
Including
fucking
himself.
included. Yeah.
Yeah.
So long as
He's
he
not
acknow-
being a hypocrite.
So
He's just,
long
you
as
know,
he acknowledges that he himself is part of that everybody.
yeah. He's just being very literal about the word everybody.
So Tony catches up to Clint and Wanda. Clearly retirement doesn't suit you. Got tired of shooting golf? Well, I played 18, shot 18. Just can't seem to miss. First time for everything. And then they fuck Tony up in his suit. Actually kind of rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Spidey's
Oh, he's fine. Oh, come on. That suit is made out of like fucking material from God himself.
Yeah,
He's
it sure
gonna
is
be
because the
fine.
next scene he's in,
yeah, he's fine.
there's not a single scratch on that fucking
he
suit.
brought a spare suit.
Yeah, they're fine.
Spidey is still fighting Sam and Bucky, and he's clipping it up, and it's pretty cool. There's some hints of spider sense of
Hey
some
man,
sort.
I think you lost this.
And Sam goes, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight before, but there's usually not this much talking. All right.
Yes, Sam.
All right, sorry, my bad. Before he can web them up more, he gets flung out of the window by Red Wing. Scott has Cap throw an enlarging disc.
You couldn't have done that earlier
Yeah.
or whatever. What does Monkey say?
Something like
I
that.
hate you.
Yeah.
Scott has Cap throw an enlarging disc at what he thought was like a water truck. It was not. It was... It exploded.
It was, in fact, the opposite of a water truck.
That was the fire truck.
Team Cap starts making way to the Quinjet when Vision shows up to draw a literal line in the ground. Here we
In
get
case you didn't get it.
the lineup money shot where the teams are pretty evenly split here. We got Cap and Tony, kind of the leaders. We get Nat. We get versus Hawkeye, the human people. We get the stronger
The normal fucks.
the stronger ones in Wanda and Vision. We get the funny Bugman and Ant-Man and Spider-Man. The flying black friends in War Machine and Falcon.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, you're right. Oh
And then the
no.
ones who are the most indifferent in Black Panther and fucking Winter Soldier.
Well, they have a very direct,
Yeah.
fight. Henry Jackman's score really shines during this part.
It's pretty good.
Like da 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 da. Yeah, it's very good.
Everyone's going at it. Wanda kind of saves a lot of people from being beaten. Because she's very
She's
strong.
OP.
Cap versus Spidey. That thing does not
so
obey a lot of physics at all, which it doesn't. Especially in that scene
No.
where he threw it
Yeah.
at the web and then it came back, and I don't know how.
Why not?
Steve buys time by making Spidey hold like a collapsed walkway or something, and they exchange where they're from in New York, which mirrors the scene that happened in the first Avengers. Sorry, the first Avenger with Erskine.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Clint shoots Ant-Man on an arrow, like the iconic comic cover. And he gets
Yeah,
inside.
I'm ready. All right. What does he say? What did he say? All right, bird guy or something.
Something
All right,
like
Arrow
that.
guy, let's go. I'm
Arrow
ready.
guy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He gets inside Tony's suit, and Tony's like, "Who's
your conscience."
speaking?"
This is your conscience.
We don't talk a
We
lot.
don't
these days.
talk
Smoking a
much
lot.
nowadays.
Tony uses his fire suppression system to blow Scott out. Team Cap agree to let Steve and Bucky get on the jet and head to Siberia while they stay back and distract.
We get a really nice choreographed flip onto a soft pad
Yeah.
from somebody. I can't remember who it is, but that part of this fight is always like stuck out to me.
They need something big though, and Scott has the answer. He hops onto War Machine and grows 60 feet tall or something like that.
I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss.
And I like Rhodey going like, "Okay, tiny dude's big now. He's big now."
I like it just cutting to Peter and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the logical reaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's fighting around this giant Ant-Man. We haven't met yet. I'm Clint. I don't care.
Oh, God.
So
So
good. Just a little side note. Do you guys remember when the fact that Ant-Man got big was spoiled by fucking Funko Pop leaks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before
Yes,
this movie
I do
came out?
remember.
I still think about that sometimes. It's the funniest fucking leak for a Marvel movie I think I've seen.
I remember being upset about that.
Yeah.
Because I got it spoiled for me, and I was like, ah, dang it.
It's so unfortunate.
But it was very cool. It's still in the theater. You're so like, oh my God, I can't believe Giant Man is on screen right now.
Rhodey tries to use some sonic blasters, last seen in The Incredible Hulk. Everyone's trying to help or hinder Cap and Bucky from getting on the Quinjet. Vision shoots a tower, but Wanda catches it. Rhodey knocks out Wanda. Nat changes sides and doesn't relate this to anyone
For
else.
some reason.
Even though, I mean, earlier in the movie, she's like, she has a good point where she's like, we agree to it, but like if we need to bend the rules, so be it. As long as we have one hand on the wheel. But apparently, I mean, obviously the Accords aren't important right now.
Yeah.
God, I wish Steve knew that. I wish Steve remembered that he had this vital information.
But she just continues to shoot Black Panther with a stun gun. Well, not a stun gun, but she stuns him with the Widow's Bite.
She keeps shooting him over and over again, right?
Like he'll get a little close. He'll get a
Poor
little closer. And
T'Challa.
he just blast it. Just blast it.
Come on. Now, why?
Not this one.
Oh no.
You ever see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
Oh God.
And
What a good line.
they knock down Scott.
Jesus, kid. Jesus, Tony. How old is this kid?
I don't know. I didn't carbon date him. He's a little on the young side.
They knock down Scott like an AT-AT, and he goes back to normal size, and he asks for orange slices.
Tyler, tell me the truth. Did you look up what the walkers from Empire Strikes Back are called?
I knew they were called AT-ATs, but
Okay.
I also just to make sure, I was like, is it AT-AT or AT-ST? Because those two are
STs
very
are the little
close.
ones.
They're very close. They should have different
Yeah,
names.
the
STs are
names are
little-
similar
the
enough
chicken
that I don't blame
walkers.
you for double checking.
So
The one in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer was an ATST.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Tony goes over to Peter to basically fire him. And Bucky and Cap fly off.
No, I can keep going, Mrs. Stark. I can keep going. No, never mind. I'll stay here.
I like when he
I'm not done. Oh, okay, I'm done. It's so good.
he like fucking lifts the mask up and Peter's like fucking throwing punches and shit.
Did we win? Like,
Wanda and Vision apologize to each other. The battle's over, but the Flyers are chasing. Rhodey asks Vision to turn Falcon into a glider, but Falcon does that cool trick he does and dodges by retracting his wings, and the beam hits Rhodey, who scarily plummets to the ground.
it's horrifying to watch.
Yeah.
I do love this idea, though, that Vision can get distracted. I feel like that's a big moment for people that don't really know that aren't familiar with Vision, because he's definitely played as like a robot up until this point.
Yeah.
So I feel like if maybe you don't know that,
By the time he puts
you don't know what's going to happen.
By the time he puts on a
like-
sweater, you should be like, okay, something different about this man.
Yeah.
This is the movie where we start to inject a little more like humanity into him.
Yeah.
We're getting a taste of that, and this is like not the worst example of it, but like the example with the most consequences.
Yes.
Rhodey's still alive, and the EMTs are on their way. Falcon flies down to apologize, but gets blasted because it just became
Yeah,
a little
fair
bit more
enough.
personal.
Yeah, I don't
Fair
blame
enough.
him.
At least he did, in fact, try to also catch Rhodey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zemo.
Yeah, Sam isn't like
Yeah.
bad here, but you understand Tony's frustration.
Yeah,
and anger at this
Tony's
moment.
just fucking like
Yeah.
livid.
Yeah.
Zemo orders room service at a hotel where he was at in Vienna, just so they can find the body of the real psychiatrist he killed. Bucky asks what will happen to the rest of Team Cap. and Bucky doesn't think he's worth all this effort. Cap assures him that wasn't him. He didn't have a choice. And then Bucky goes, I know, but I did it. Rhodey gets...
It's really your fault, Steve. You could have talked to them. You could have said anything.
Rhodey gets examined in a CAT scan machine, and Vision says that he got distracted. Rhodey has lacerations in his spinal cord and might be looking at some kind of paralysis. Tony tells Nat that the child told Ross what happened, so they're coming after her, which is, of course, set up for Black Widow. And she says that...
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, retroactively it is.
Yeah, retroactively.
But was it?
Wasn't her movie planned like way before it actually came out?
I don't know. They didn't announce it until after Endgame came out.
I feel like it was in the works for a long time.
Maybe.
People had wanted it for a long
Yeah.
time. I don't know that there was any actual production on it going on around this time.
I'll look into it when we get there.
Definitely not any production. I don't know if... I would think this might have been one of those things where, like, Kevin Feige was still trying to get something made when the higher-ups at Disney were like, a woman? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because famously, he had to fight for Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And she says that she's not the one who needs to watch her back, which is weird because she definitely has to.
A fucking ominous line, too. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'll fucking
You know,
kill
for a
you,
bitch who
Tony.
doesn't show up in this movie again, you're kind of threatening this man with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Tony gets a priority upload from the Berlin police, so he hops on a chopper and leaves. Friday tells Tony that the psychiatrist met with Zemo, who was a part of the Sokovian intelligence and ran Echo Scorpion, a covert kill squad. Tony learns that Bucky was framed. I wish someone had told him that. In Siberia, though, Zemo finds the facility where the other Winter Soldiers are. He searches through a bunch of files and comes across the soldiers' chambers. They're all still on ice. Tony heads to the raft and tells Ross to start scanning for Zemo, but Ross tells Tony that he's lucky he's not in one of those cells too.
Yeah, Ross is a fucking villain.
Yeah.
like Tony's like, here's the evidence, and Ross is like, I don't give a shit.
He sees Wanda in prison and she's looking kind of rough. He goes to talk to them and Clint is yelling about the futurist. Tony asks why Clint didn't think about his family before he got involved, which is actually a good question. He says, and then Ant-Man goes, like Pym always said, you can never trust a Stark. Who are you?
Oh, man.
He walks up to Sam to see if he can tell him where Steve went. Tony admits he got some things wrong, so Sam agrees to tell him. And then we cut to Tony leaving, where he tells Ross that Sam wouldn't give him any info. He flies off, but he does another cool suit up and leaves the helicopter.
Dude,
and heads towards
one of my
Cap.
favorites.
It's so cool.
So cool.
We also see
Sam, the goat.
Black Panther and a Quinjet following them as well. Or some kind of a jet.
Is it the Quinjet
Some
or
kind
is
of
that
jet.
the Wakandan
It's a Wakandan jet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
They
Tyler.
didn't really establish those back then. Like, AO didn't even have a name in this movie, okay?
I think the fact that there is, like, a Black Panther suit made of vibranium implies that they're hiding some shit, and I think part of that is a single jet that he can fly.
No, they don't have jets there. Couldn't possibly. They didn't get those till his movie.
Yeah, what do they say in like in Age of Ultron? It's just a bunch of like, tribal people. There's no jets. Come on.
Yeah. Maybe Bruce was cooking a bit,
Maybe.
Cap and Bucky make it to the base, and they head in while remembering old times. They sneak around and check their corners where Tony comes in. And he's here to help without Ross knowing. He doesn't want to have to arrest himself.
Manchurian candidate. He calls Bucky the Manchurian candidate.
Yeah, he does.
Because, Tony and Steve have made their peace. They're about to work together. Bucky still got the gun pointed.
I'd be nervous too.
The trio move along while Black Panther kind of skulks around. They come to the main room, but Tony is only reading one heat signature. Zemo killed all the super soldiers.
This is the part of the movie where I went, what?
Yeah.
And this is the part where I think this movie was saved from a terrible third act.
Yep.
This is where Black Panther learns that Zemo killed his dad. Zemo's here because he lost his family, but he'll tear the Avengers apart. An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again. but one which crumbles from within, that's dead forever.
And he does a great comment where he's like, I didn't notice it until I was standing right here. There's a little bit of green and the blue in your eyes. Nice to find an imperfection. Which just, this idea of like, this idea of Steve being like, and we find out like a little more in Falcon and Winter Soldier that Zemo fucking hates super soldiers. But this idea that like, from so far away, he looks like the gleaming banner of liberty in America or whatever, right? With, perfect teeth and whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? There's just a little blemish in your eyes. And I, as somebody who fucking hates you, I appreciate that. I love Zemo as a villain. I think very well written.
Why does he hate super soldiers though?
I don't really know. I don't know if they really explained it in Falcon and Winter Soldier either.
If they did, I've forgotten.
Out of the car crawls. Oh, sorry, I skipped a lot. Because I was just scrolling. Zemo's playing a video of the mission that happened on December 16th, 1991. Tony recognizes this road. On the video, we see the same car crash and the Winter Soldier get off his bike, and Steve looks at Tony. Out of the car crawls Howard Stark. Dun 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 dun!
What?
Bucky killed Tony's parents. And Howard recognized Bucky. He then choked Marie to death. And Tony lunges, but is stopped by Cap. And Tony asks if Cap knew. And Cap lies initially. But then he comes clean.
I think this is the moment where Steve becomes indefensible in this movie. And
I don't know about indefensible.
Look. When those files leaked, if the moment he found out about this, he should have come clean.
Yeah, I agree.
And said something. And the fact that he like didn't hid it from Tony and then doesn't want to deal with the consequences of Tony completely lashing out, it is, I don't know.
I mean, I think that like obviously he's in the wrong. But I don't think that totally invalidates every other point of his throughout the entire movie.
I just think
no, I'm saying
in the years between
I don't think he becomes
Soldier
indefensible.
Now,
I'm saying this action is
told him.
indefensible.
Oh yes, this action.
Like this,
well,
this in particular.
the previous action. I think him trying to stop Tony is totally defensible.
But by this I mean hiding that he knew.
Yeah, hiding it.
And
yes,
and not
yes,
ever coming clean with this.
Yeah, I definitely and the great part is Steve also agrees. He says it at the end of the movie. He's
he does say it at the end, and we'll get to that apology because I have my issues with it. But I think that part in particular where he's like, "Yeah, I fucked up, not telling you." Yeah.
Yeah.
Another fight breaks out where Tony is just going after Bucky, and Zemo fucking hits the peace sign, tips the fuck out of there. Steve tries to talk Tony down by saying that it wasn't Bucky because he was being controlled. And Tony's targeting system is down, so just like Obadiah in Iron Man 1, has to aim with his eyes.
Gonna eyeball it.
Do you even remember
Except he
them?
actually lands. He
does.
hits it.
Yeah.
I remember all of them. The three crash before fighting again. This isn't going to change what happened. I don't care. He killed my mom. So still not about his dad.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He fucking hates his dad at this point.
Yeah. Howard did a lot. Mostly like neglect.
Yeah.
But like he very clearly cared a lot for his mom because I think the barf thing specifically having Maria say, say goodbye, this is your last chance or whatever is really indicative of that.
Yeah.
And you can tell from like the way he reacts when he's watching the tape. He has a more visceral reaction to Maria's death than Howard's.
Yeah.
So now having found out that your best friend killed your other friend's mom, you tag team beat his ass. They are going at it, dude.
I mean, Tony's gonna try to kill Bucky, so I would try to stop him.
Okay,
too.
but like they're doing like
I would hope
they're doing like Marvel combos on him.
Well, he's in a fucking Iron Man suit.
I think
Soldiers.
I think the thing here would be to restrain him and like have him calm down, not to, in fact, MVC combo this bitch into oblivion.
They're frisbeeing
I
the
think
shield.
Steve does try to. I think Steve does try to restrain him, and then Tony starts launching missiles at
Steve
people.
tries to disable the suit in various ways. And
But
then
like
he
when
also,
you go right to the start, like the start of the fight.
yeah, I don't know.
Like I get it. Trust me when I say, I get it. I think that I could never put myself into that exact situation for Tony. I think I'd probably have a similar response. I would hope that somebody would be like Steve to stop me because I think I would regret it. But I get Tony's response here.
Yeah.
But I also think that trying to stop him from murdering Bucky is probably the right thing to do.
I just think
there is a difference between stopping him and going overboard.
I just think the beat is weird, where they're like literally comboing him.
The trailer shot of them comboing his ass and up against that like slanted wall with the window.
I definitely think part of that is it's a Marvel movie, so we're gonna do we got to show some cool ass shit,
Yeah.
But I also I don't feel too bad for the dude in the giant suit of invulnerable armor getting his ass beat. Like he's okay. He's all right. Like Bucky loses an arm.
What about the two guys who can hold a helicopter in place?
Yeah, but they're still not in a giant. Like he has what, like a fucking black eye at the end of this. Like by the end of it, Steve starts to go overboard for certain when he's about to take Tony's fucking head off, but then he stops himself. Like everybody gets very caught up in their emotions during this scene, for sure. But it's not like Tony got fucking crippled during this scene, They didn't take his leg off or something. Like he had a black eye when it was done.
It still hurts.
Yeah, and fucking Bucky lost his metal arm.
It's a fake arm.
Rebuilt and replaced.
It's a fake arm.
That one's been like if you want to stop Bucky from destroying something, you go for the metal arm. That's fair.
I don't think that Tony really cared that it was, metal and he wasn't going to feel anything.
I'm not saying he did. I'm saying that he took off the metal arm and not the only human one that remains.
I'm just saying that I think he would have taken off the human one if he had the chance.
Yeah, obviously he was going for the kill.
Yeah. And
he should have done it.
In that scenario, I would hope that somebody would stop me.
Nah.
Yeah, fair.
Couldn't be me, dude. I would not stop you. I would help you.
I'd be very upset with you afterwards.
I'd be like, you ever play Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare? No.
Oh my god.
In that game, at any point, if there's an open spot on the other team, you can just switch over. you just switch over to the other side.
So you're saying you can pull a fucking Black Widow on that shit at any time.
I'd be like, damn, Buck, you really killed his mom. All right, Tony, let's fucking take him down. I'd help you, Shawn. You thank me for it.
I wouldn't thank you for it. I know that I wouldn't.
In the moment, you feel really good about it.
In the moment, I'd be like, let's fucking go, Tyler, probably. But then I'd think on it a little bit and I'd be fucking horrified at what I'd done.
So they beat his ass. Tony blows off his arm. We get the very good shot of the repulsor on the shield.
Yeah, the Civil War cover.
So Black Panther confronts Zemo, telling him that he almost killed the wrong person. We learn that Zemo's family lived outside the city, and his kid was very excited to see the heroes fight. But when the dust cleared on Sokovia, his family was dead, and it took him 2 days to find them. Zemo knew he couldn't kill the Avengers, but having them kill each other was a better option. He says, I'm sorry about your father. He seemed like a good man with a beautiful son. And then Black Panther goes, vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I won't let it consume me.
God, I fucking
And he
love
stops
this
Zemo
so
from
much.
killing himself.
I'm Team Black Panther. Black Panther's the best character in this movie.
The living are not done with you yet.
Oh, God, what a good line.
Such a good line.
Friday is like yelling at Tony that he can't beat Steve in hand-to-hand combat. So he has her analyze his fight patterns and come up with countermeasures. And then he fights and he was my friend. So was I. Tony knocks him down, but
Wish at that point, Steve had been like, as your friend, I'm trying to stop you from doing something that you're going to regret.
Yeah, at that point, it would have been too little too late. Like, if
Yeah.
Steve had said that, Tony would have just been, yeah, I'm second fiddle. Or
I don't
something.
Yeah. Yeah, in the moment I can see how it would definitely not work great, but again, it's just another point where I'm like, come on, Steve, fucking use your words, please.
Yeah.
Tony knocks him down, and we get the I can do this all day. But Tony gets distracted by Bucky grabbing his leg, and Cap throws him down and stabs his shield into the arc reactor, powering down the suit. Cap makes his way out, but Tony says that shield doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. My father made that shield. And Cap throws it to the ground. Which is something I just wish we explored a little more, you know? Wish we explored that part of it.
I wish we had gotten a chance to explore them healing their relationship more than we did in Endgame.
Yeah, I really wish we had even like a single buffer movie that explored this idea of like the fractured relationship and how they try to navigate it before getting thrown directly into, all right, fuck it, we gotta fucking work together now again, you know, everything's good, I guess, because otherwise we're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Which, like, fair, but
yeah,
it's like, yeah,
not once do we ever really sell in the fact that like Bucky knew Howard. They worked together.
don't do this.
It's kind of crazy. I just think it's
Don't do this.
I just think it's crazy that we don't really talk about it. You know.
But like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Like, what are you trying to expand upon that with? What does it matter that he knew? Like, are you talking about like for the trauma of what he was forced to do?
Yeah.
Or are you about to pull a fucking Mike, where Mike likes to say that fucking Bucky's a bad person for having done it when he wasn't in control of himself?
Bucky
I don't
might
know this,
agree
Mike,
with
but
you.
I want fucking words with this man because
Oh,
that is the wrong opinion.
The bros, I think they do it to fuck with me a little bit, but also it does set me off when they're like, yeah, it's just totally Bucky's fault. He just should not have killed.
Okay.
Tony's dad. Like,
knowing them, they're absolutely saying that just to fucking set you off.
He's not in control.
There is absolutely no fucking way they're being legit.
You know the
about that.
Punisher meme where he's like, they're holding him back and he's like, no. He's not in control. He's not in control.
Yeah.
Jesse! He's not in control, Jesse!
So back at the holding cell, Everett Ross taunts Zemo in his cell. Says, you step out of line, you deal with me. Please step out of line. Ross asks Zemo how it feels to see his plan fail, but Zemo isn't so sure that it did.
The first Marvel villain to like win at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He did it.
Tony comes back to the Avengers compound to find Vision and Rhodey. He's made some leg enhancements for Rhodey to help him walk. Rhodey said that he flew 138 combat missions because a fight needed to be fought, and he signed the Accords because he feels that it was the right thing to do. At the door, we get a cameo from Stan Lee asking, "Are you Tony Stank?" Because he's a FedEx driver now. Tony got a package from Steve with a long letter that I didn't quote, where Cap makes it kind of about him. There's some weird wording.
I'm glad somebody
in that
else
letter.
got that vibe. Me hearing that, the only part of that apology that felt genuine was the part about not telling him that Bucky killed his parents. Everything else came across as the I'm sorry you feel that way, but yada yada yada.
Maybe
I just believe in people.
I mean, I think I think in that part what he's trying to say is his justification in not agreeing with the Accords, not like the Bucky half of it. And I think when he starts to talk about like, I know I hurt you, Tony. I guess I thought by not telling you about your parents, I was sparing you, but I can see now that I was really sparing myself.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Like, that's the part where I think he's talking about...
That's the genuine part of the apology to me.
I think he's genuine about why he didn't believe in the Accords.
I think he genuinely makes it come across as like, I'm sorry that you don't see, you know, the right thing to do in this scenario. Like, the way that
I don't know. I don't read it
letter
like
is
that.
written. it just really comes across to me as just, like, you'll see that I'm right one day when you need me again, because the world will need us.
Yeah. The hopefully one day you can understand, I think, is a little like, okay.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, I wish we agreed on the Accords. I really do. I know you're doing what you believe in, and that's all any of us can do. I don't think he's like, I don't think he's trying to do a takedown of Tony for his beliefs.
I don't think he's trying to do a takedown either. I'm just saying, like, it's probably that last line in particular. That really just makes it come across as like a really dick move.
Yeah. I like that he leaves the phone, though. If you need us, we'll be there,
Yeah.
Even though we're on the outs right now, I'm still like, I'll still be there for you.
And we see him breaking his friends out of the raft, which, by the way, is a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fucking care.
I mean,
Fuck
the
Everett.
Accords
Or
are
not
already
Everett,
technically...
Thaddeus Ross.
Yeah, no, fuck
Like-
Ross, absolutely.
Like,
Like, if there's a person who is objectively wrong in this movie, it's always Ross.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
What about the guards though? They're just there.
Well, they just get knocked out. They're okay.
They're fine.
I don't know. I've seen Cap fight those guys at the beginning of Winter Soldier, dude.
Shit, you're right.
They're all right. They
they're
might
not
never be able to walk again, but they're okay.
Yeah, they're not named characters. They're not all right, man.
Look, if I got hit with that shield enough for it to bounce back to him,
Well, he doesn't have it,
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, he
doesn't have
gave
the
up the
shield.
shield.
Okay,
Yeah.
they only got
This
it
is
for
all
broken
hand-to-hand.
legs.
He just choked them out until they were unconscious and losing,
Yeah,
brain cells. They were getting brain damage.
only permanently
That's
damaged their
fine.
Yeah.
tracheas, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. They're gonna be breathing through a fucking machine for the rest of their lives, but at least they're still alive.
So yeah, I mean that's the end of the movie. Mid credits, Bucky's in a lab. And he's gonna get put under again by his choice until they get the Winter Soldier off his head. T'Challa walks in because he's the one providing the service.
Because he's the greatest fucking. I love T'Challa. He has a line in there, something about like saving Bucky even though his dad died or whatever. I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's very good. And yeah, I fucking love T'Challa, dude.
Steve goes, if they find out he's here, they'll come for him. Let them try. We're in
Oh,
Wakanda, baby.
Cutting to the fucking Stone Panthers.
Yeah.
So good.
don't think too much about it because it's definitely gonna change by the time we get to
Yeah,
it.
don't worry
It's
about it.
fine.
But yes, yeah.
There's a second statue, and
Yeah, there's just in like a rainforest somewhere
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see. You know?
post credits, Aunt May is asking Peter who hit him as he messes with his new web shooters. He says Steve from Brooklyn hit him with his giant friend. When May leaves the
Yeah.
room, he shines a little light from the web shooters on the ceiling, and it's a Spider-Man logo. Spider-Man will return.
So
I gotta.
good.
Where's the? Hang on. All right, I gotta ask you guys because I wrote this down and I was like, I don't know if I'm being weird here,
Okay.
but I'm gonna send you this screenshot from the movie, and I just gotta ask you, why is she looking at him like that? I'm like Marissa Tomei. I'm like, whoa, what are you? Why are you looking at him like that?
Because he got some good hits in the fight,
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, this is an uncomfortable look on your face right now.
Why don't you look at me like that?
I think you're looking a little too deep into this, my man.
No, I think the fact that Tyler just said, I wish he was looking at me like that proves my fucking point exactly.
Okay. I would
You're
need
just
to
out of touch,
rewatch
Shawn.
the scene again because you've given me a screenshot and I don't know how long
No.
this look is.
Totally. It holds for like a while.
Oh, Jesus.
Like too long. And she goes, okay, tough guy. I'm like, this is weird. This is a weird choice.
Shawn, what have you been
Good movie.
watching, dude?
Look, I'm just saying, this is a weird choice, Tyler. Don't act like you didn't just fucking go, I wish she'd look at me like that.
Okay, but she's not my aunt. She's Peter's aunt.
That's why the look is weird.
That's the end of the movie. We're done. Let's where are we going, Sean? What are we doing right now?
I don't know. I feel like whatever I say, you're gonna choose to do something else.
All right, let's go in.
Let's do the swears first.
All right, so let's talk about the connections.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
So of course, basically everyone is here except for the Guardians of the Galaxy, Hulk and Thor, and anyone who's fucking dead.
Ash?
Every character's here. Of course, we get mentions of characters from Ant-Man. We get Thaddeus Ross showing back up. We get scenes from New York, DC, Sokovia. I almost called it the other place.
I mean, it is another place, technically.
It is.
To go break some eggs line. Of course, Brock Rumlow's here. All that. I mean, it's basically a follow-up to Winter Soldier. Don't know why. Actually, I mean, it obviously it falls up a lot on Winter Soldier, but it could have easily just been an Avengers movie, honestly. Even though we just had
I think
one.
at the core, it's still a Captain America movie, though.
I guess.
You know, I think the whole thing is about Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it should be called Avengers.
The Bucky Wars.
the Bucky
Avengers Winter Wars.
the Bucky conundrum.
It's not terrible. The Bucky incident. The Buchanan Accord.
But there's a lot.
God.
Basically, this movie ties to like every other one except for Guardians and Hulk and stuff.
I mean, it does tie to Hulk.
I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah,
mentioned.
Thaddeus Ross does show the fucking...
Ross came back.
Yeah, you're right. Except for Thor. No Thor.
But is mentioned.
He is
Yeah,
mentioned.
I mean, Vision does mention the staff, so...
And,
mildly, Thor is
Ross
kind
is
of
like,
here.
do you know where Thor and Banner are right now?
And
I
Tony's
lost
like,
a 30 megaton.
Tony's
nuke."
like, no one does. Thor's actually not doing it. He's not doing anything right now. They just didn't call him, I guess. I think that's actually the reason they give in Ragnarok. But yeah, and as for the big board, of course, ties to every other movie, basically. So let's go on to the swear words.
Language.
Hope you're ready for this.
Is this going to be crazy? I feel like there's a lot of swear words in this movie.
I'm excited for this one.
All right, let's see.
Actually,
Okay,
not
okay.
that much. There are
Less than
Still,
Ant-Man.
still second
Still a lot.
highest on soft swears.
there are 26 swears in this movie, as opposed to Ant-Man's 29. So we're only 3
So
off.
what? This is still the second highest, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
There are 7 hard swears and 19 soft swears. Let's go through them all.
Oh, good lord.
Hell yeah.
At 9:47, Brock Rumlow goes.
There you are, you son of a bitch.
At 26:46, the Hydra Colonel says.
Go to hell.
All right, yes, sir.
At
thanks, man.
29:53, Tony Stark says.
He wanted to make a difference, I suppose. I mean, we won't know because we dropped a building on him while we were kicking ass.
You did kick ass, though.
At 31:17, Sam Wilson says.
Aren't you the same woman who told the government to kiss her ass a few years ago?
Damn. Sam's spitting facts.
He is.
At 41:18, Natasha Romanoff says.
All right, good job, Scarlett.
At
Great delivery.
48:09, Sam Wilson says.
Who the hell's the other guy?
At 59:12, Tony Stark says.
Your dad was a pain in the ass, but your mom always made it work.
At 104:13, Bucky Barnes says.
What the hell is this?
Me
At
too, man.
108:40, Sam Wilson says.
What did he say?
He said, damn it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
At 1:11:46, Bucky says.
Everything Hydra put inside me is still there. All he had to do was say the goddamn words.
Boy, he had to speak the words? Hold on a second, Tyler.
At 1:23:13, Clint Barton says.
I retire for what, like 5 minutes, and it all goes to shit.
True.
At 1:23:37, Clint Barton says.
Look, you want to mope? You can go to high school. You want to make amends? You get off your ass.
And at
True.
1:23:42, Clint Barton says.
Man, he just
Does
Yeah,
Clint have
he-
the highest like
He,
rate
he,
of
fi-
swears?
he just fired them off as soon as he showed up. At 1:26:25, in the worst scene of this movie, Sharon Carr says.
Yeah,
Oh, uh-oh. I got kicked out of the stream. All right, there we go.
you got kicked out of the worst scene. You're fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
At
okay.
1:27:06, Wanda says.
It was time to get off my ass.
At 1:30:39, James Rhodes says.
Oh, what the hell was that?
At 1:31:23, Bucky says.
What the hell is that?
At 1:38:42, Scott says.
On my signal, run like hell.
At 1:39:13, Peter Parker says.
Holy shit!
God, fuck it. Can we give like an award to the best swear so far? Because that's it.
Yeah.
That holy shit.
At 1:49:36, Tony Stark says. At 1:54 even, Sam Wilson says.
Well, you better go get a bag copy, because you're going to have to go Mark Furman on my ass to get information out of me.
At 1:54:58, Tony Stark says.
Not told me to go to hell.
Oh, okay.
At 1:59:20, Bucky Barnes says.
What the hell?
At 2 hours and 22 seconds, Zemo says.
Sokovia was a failed state long before you blew it to hell.
A lot of hell in this movie.
Yeah,
It's the most accessible swear word. Other than
I
like
got
damn.
it. Captain America: Civil War is hell. That's the whole title.
There you go.
At 2:02:57, Tony Stark says. At you heard it. At fucking 2:09:45, Tony Stark says.
Let's kick his ass.
And that's all the swears in the movie.
He said, "Let's kick his ass," and they fucking cheered. Let's go.
Yo.
But we're not done with the swear category yet.
What?
Because
Oh?
there's a new part to it. I haven't made the thing to show you, but I'm sitting here looking at a list of every character that has ever sweared in these movies.
Oh, we're keeping track
Oh.
of who swears the most. Let's go.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. So, for the first time here, I'm going to go through all of them from the least amount of swears to the most.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, now, Shawn, I think we should play a fun game of
yeah,
bet
yeah.
on who's number one.
Make your bets right now.
For my money, is this like hard and soft?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
gotta be Tony, right?
I feel like Tony's probably number one, if not like top three.
He's been in so many movies.
He's been in so many. He tends to go what the hell a lot. If it's not Tony, then
Bro, shut the fuck up.
I think it's Tony. I think it's Tony by a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Tony by
The
a
only
lot.
other
By
person
sheer
I can think
volume.
being top three is maybe Steve, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Tony's
Alright.
my guess.
I'll start at the bottom. And people who are watching this in the video version, which you should go watch on Spotify and YouTube, names that are in red are people who are dead.
Oh,
Awesome.
So that's where their number stops. So at the
what
bottom,
if there's a flashback?
that's a little different. I don't know how
Then
many.
it gets added posthumously, I guess.
So Abu, if you don't remember from Iron Man 1, he's the guy who Tony threw to the people.
Yeah.
He's sitting.
Oh yeah.
He's sitting at 1. Zemo at 1. Peter Parker at 1.
But man, his one was fucking powerful.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
The rest of the ones go like this: Wanda, Sharon, Barack Rumlow, Hope Van Dyne, Paxton, Maggie, Scott's ex-wife, Betty Ross, Emil Blonsky, Happy Hogan, Howard Stark, Jane Foster, Eric Selvig, Volstagg, Phil Coulson, Fandral, Dum Dum Dugan, Peggy Carter, Savin, Jasper Sitwell, Brock Rumlow again. I don't know why he's on this list twice. So I guess he might be it too. I'll have to double check. Nova Prime, Garth and Saul, and Quicksilver. The twos are looking like this: Ivan Vanko, Loki, Harley Keener from Iron Man 3, Thor, Douglas Rockwell from Winter Soldier, Corpsman Day, Bruce Banner. Nope, that's the end of the twos. At the threes, we have Bruce Banner and Trevor Slattery. At number 4, we have Dave. I don't know who Dave is, actually. Do you guys remember Dave?
No.
He's got to be a bit character from one of these movies, but I don't specifically
Dave,
remember.
MCU. Dave from Ant-Man. T.I.
Yeah, okay.
He has 4.
Okay.
At the fives, we have James Rhodes, Natasha Romanoff, Darcy Lewis, and Rocket Raccoon. At the 6, we have Bucky Barnes, Scott Lang, Hank Pym, Justin Hammer, and Yondu. At 7, we have General Ross and Colonel Phillips from the first Captain America.
Huh. Okay.
All right.
At number 8, we have Luis and Peter Quill. At 10, we have Sam Wilson and Clint Barton.
How high up is that?
This is the number 4 spot. Sorry, number
Okay.
5. Number 5 spot. They tie for top 5.
Okay.
Okay, so-
I thought that Clint would probably be up there, but I didn't want to say him.
So
Well, we know he's not going to be number 1.
Yeah.
The top 5
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
at 10, Clint Barton, Sam Wilson. Tie for third place with 11 swears is Nick Fury and Steve Rogers.
Man,
He's
Steve
third?
curses.
Man.
Number 12 is kind of a cheat. The 12 is kind of a cheat. 12 are the NPCs, characters who swear but don't have names.
Oh.
That's funny.
And so that's at 12.
Yeah.
At 24,
Yeah!
Tony Stark
Let's go, Shibuya. Let's go.
Let's go!
with 24
Let's go.
swears.
It's not even fucking close.
It's not even. How many was Peter Quill at after one movie?
8.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna catch up.
It's gonna be hard, but hey,
Look,
he's still got another movie that's yet to release, so there's
That's
time.
true.
look. Tony's gone. There's only someone's got to catch up at some point.
Yes, that's true. I guess Tony only has 2 movies left, right? Or no, 3.
Yeah.
2 Avengers movies and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Peter has another movie, a special, another movie. So he got 3 movies left and a special to count? Because he has 2 Guardians movies and then he's in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might.
I guess he could catch
He
up.
might say something.
but
I don't know if he swears in Endgame as well.
I
don't think he really has like.
I don't think he
maybe
has
one
any-
line in Endgame.
Well, he does get kicked in the nuts. So.
Oh, and at the end of the movie with
With Thor as
Thor, he
well.
might have a swear.
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's fair.
We'll see.
And maybe at the
I'm shocked
beginning of
Rocket Raccoon was that low,
in
honestly.
the beginning of Love and Thunder as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he's at the beginning of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he might have a chance. He might have a chance.
I think he'll climb to top 3. He has a good
Yeah,
chance of doing
definitely.
that. but I do not think he will take the number one.
Yeah, I think Tony's just has pure volume on him of movies and appearances.
So from here on out, I will update the list. I will go over the updates as they go, and then I will give the top 5. And that's how that will be covered. But all of them will be on the screen if you're watching. So if you're ever curious, at some point I might condense the ones. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Still a work in progress.
I will guess now. I think Nick Fury is going to take the number 1 spot before
Nick
he's
Fury
done.
has a much higher chance of taking the number 1 than anybody else.
And he has
at
a whole
this point.
show coming.
Yeah.
Still. So and he's already number 2 or 3?
He's tied for third with
Tied for
Steve.
third with Steve.
Yeah. He's got plenty of time. I think he's gonna take number 1.
All right, so let's go over our rankings. Shawn, where do you rank this movie?
So I know I just shit on this movie a lot. But it's my number 4, behind Iron Man, but above Ant-Man. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think if the third act wasn't so good, it would probably be a little bit lower. But I think the third act makes up for some shortcomings in other places. And I do really like this movie, even if there's parts of it that I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Shibuya.
Now, I also know that I was shitting on this movie quite a bit, but for as long as it takes advantage of its runtime. It has some really good moments and some very high highs. I can't quite place it up there with some of my major favorites, but it's at a respectable 6th, right underneath the first Avengers, and just above Ant-Man. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. As for me, while you two were arguing about the ethics or whatever, I was plotting. I was scheming.
Okay.
And this movie put Spider-Man in it, so it's number 1, obviously.
Yep. That makes sense.
I don't blame you.
That's really all it had to do. And it did it. So here we are, number 1. But also I think it's just an entertaining movie despite how stupid some of the characters are, and I just delete Sharon from the MCU, honestly. Just get rid of her, dude.
No, she's important.
No, actually. I was about to say if this was the last time she showed up, I'd be happy. But then they still did that with her, so I wouldn't be happy. That's wrong. That's an incorrect statement.
Yeah.
Delete the kiss, turn the kiss into a deleted scene, and then we're good.
Yeah. All right.
Can't wait for next time when we get to talk about a normal movie.
Yeah. So, next time, of course, we get to talk about Doctor Strange.
Hell yeah.
Doctor Strange, the man of magic. I'm sure everyone's excited for that. But until we do that, am I forgetting anything before I go? Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
We've done all our usual segments. We did the rankings. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Where can everyone find you, Shibuya?
You can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube. Just look up Shibuya Gato, and you'll see it.
Awesome. Shawn?
On Twitter at Shawn_AFK.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Tyler Rims. Currently playing Forspoken and Fire Emblem Engage. You can also find me on another podcast called Overpowered, where me and Corn talk about anime. Right now we're covering JoJo Part 3, Star Wars Crusaders.
Hell yeah.
Yo.
And then probably after that we'll do our sports arc, where we cover Kuroko and Haikyuu. I don't know why I blinked on it.
Good picks.
And then as for this podcast, the one you're listening to right now, you can follow MCUnhinged on Twitter at MCUnhinged. You can also find us on Anchor at anchor.fm/MCU-unhinged. You can also find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also if we're not in a place that you listen to, come over to the Anchor page, copy that RSS feed, plug it into your podcast app of choice, and we will pop up there regularly for you. All right, next time, Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, 2 Benedicts.
2 Benedicts?
Yeah.
2 Benedicts.
Gee, Marvel,
Double
how
the Benedict.
come Feige lets you have 2 Benedicts?
Twice the Benedict.
The girl
double
from
fall.
the girl from Mean Girls, the bully.
Rachel McAdams.
That's her.
baby.
That's her name. And Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah, he is in that one, huh?
Caecilius.
I just completely forgot Mads Mikkelsen was in Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah, he's the villain.
And the lady who plays the Ancient One, she's also there.
Tilda Swinton's here.
That's it. Yeah, that's her
and
name.
She's bald. Let's go.
It's gonna be a good time.
I'm excited.
Shawn, take us out of here.
Is that oh god. Fuck Steve and Tony, go T'Challa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
Team T'Challa, baby. Let's go.
Team T'Challa.
I'm team Marissa Tomei.
Team Aunt May. I respect it.
Shibuya, I gotta tell you,
Yeah, what's up?
Tyler came in here when I called and went, "Hey, Shawn," and then I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot of energy from Tyler." And then Tyler went, Tyler went, "What are you talking about?"
Oh my god. Good bit.
So, before we start, let me tell you something that happened to me the other night.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I made a mistake, and I let a woman into my house to use the restroom. She was clearly like a crackhead or something.
Oh god.
So I had a knife on me to make sure, she didn't get frisky.
What?
Jesus Christ.
What? What are you talking about?
Shawn will be dead before we even start talking about the fucking movie.
You gotta, you gotta stay safe,
No, I get it. Fucking hell.
Said anything about when was this?
This
When
was like
this?
maybe Saturday night.
I can't believe I haven't heard you fucking say this anywhere yet.
And
Holy
so
shit.
Monday night, today's Wednesday. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And there's
Oh, no.
there's a car outside, like I'm in my driveway with those lights on. And I'm like, what are they doing out there? Who is that? They're gonna like rob me or something? Like, what's going on?
Oh god.
The paranoia starts to kick in.
Is the end of this story going to be you telling us that we have to pay your ransom? Like, what the fuck?
No. The end of the story is that I barricaded my front door with like a heavy shelf. And then I lay my katana next to my bed. And went to bed. Eventually, it was like, oh yeah, they're here for the next door neighbors.
What?
You gotta stay safe, Shawn.
I'm not certain that wasn't an AI generated story that Tyler just read to us.
Look, even if he made it up, he made it sound fucking convincing. So
He did.
No, it happened. It happened.
The problem is I believe him. But if anybody else told me this story, I wouldn't.
I mean,
I have a headache.
it is what it is.
I haven't even started
I'm
yet.
still here
I can't breathe.
because I took precautions.
God. Well, I guess we have our preview, huh?
I'm telling you, if she tried anything, dude, she was fucking dead.
Shut up. Oh my god.
All right.
Did you have it like behind? Like, how are you holding it? Visualize this for me. Where was the knife?
It was in my hand.
Like
a flip out
inside
knife.
of her?
No. What?
Okay. I didn't know if she like saw you with a knife.
No.
I I didn't know if you were holding it behind your back like Patrick Bates. You know, I wasn't sure what was happening.
No, I just clenched it in my hand, you know?
Okay.
All
right.
Ready to deploy, you know?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Look, Shawn, I'm not afraid to stab someone, all right?
I evidently not.
You ready to start the podcast now? Is that what you wanted from me?
I don't know what I want anymore, Tyler. Let's go.
All right.